So Junipers World made a video yesterday addressing the allegations about his game Daydream being a scam. For those who don't know, Daydream is a dreamcore, nostalgiacore cooperative horror game I've been following for a couple of months, and I gave my very critical analysis on it a week ago in my last video. In summary, I think the developer has bit off more than he can chew and is choosing to prioritize hyping up his game in order to rake in YouTube revenue from his dorky audience who are mesmerized by anything akin to 90s aesthetics and liminal spaces. If you want my prior analysis and opinion on Juniper's game Daydream, follow the link on screen or in the description. If you're all caught up, let's get into what he has to say in his video, as this was in turn a non-direct reply to my video, even though he didn't make mention of me.
If you click on the video, well, you're about to see the real behind the scenes of Daydream, things I haven't shown people. And if anyone tells you that Daydream is fake, just send them this.
Yeah, he says he's going to show the real behind the scenes of Daydream, but proceeds to show gameplay of a very early stage build that we've already seen ages ago. Don't forget, this is coming from a man who claims to have spent more than 20,000 hours developing this game.
Jump, crouch, whatever, run, sprint, look back. Super simple stuff, right?
Yeah, run, jump, crouch, who gives a shit? Real groundbreaking controls, mate. I'm glad you showed us some behind the scenes. Now I believe this project is the real deal. Seriously though, whoever looks at this and is convinced that it's going to release in 2025 are without a doubt double-digit IQ morons. You're kidding yourself if that's what you think, and so is Juniper. People from Juniper's team, despite him claiming to be a solo dev, have claimed that Daydream is still in the early stages. If that's the case, you've got 4 months until the end of this year, so you guys better start picking up the pace.
So moving on to another thing that I want to show off is entities. All our entities are real. They are fully rigged, and this one's called Deadlight.
No one is questioning if the entities are real. You flaunt these things the most on your channel because you know what attracts the most views. For me, it's always been a question of whether or not you care enough to get Daydream out in time and if it will live up to all the hype, instead of asking for name and ability ideas from your community over and over again. Be the solo dev you claim to be, take on the responsibility of what you've set out to do.
A lot of our stuff is community based, meaning I ask you guys questions and you guys pick, and then I help bring it to life. Like this was made. Here's a concept here.
Yeah, nice deceptive language there, mate. I ask you guys a question and you guys pick. Are people this brain dead? For me, this translates to I throw a half-baked idea at the wall, go to bed, and let my audience do the work while I'm sleeping. You might ask, Mr. Weenie, aren't you crashing out a little bit over this? It's completely fine if you're going to do community votes, but Juniper is taking the piss with how many ideas he needs from his followers. It's his game, no one else's. I get he wants the community to be a part of it, but that's just an excuse for him to get some original ideas because he has none himself. This isn't development, it's crowdsourced brainstorming disguised as content. And it's working because people are bending over backwards just to name his characters while he keeps churning out the same overexposed dreamscape and calling it progress. Look, I get it, it's a solo dev project, but don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. If you're gonna use your audience to help you, then at least credit the individuals who came up with the ideas for names and abilities for your characters.
And then that got made into this, which was not cheap at all. This cost a lot of money. And then the rig also cost a lot of money.
Fair enough, he paid some people to do some work for him. That's completely fine, even if he does call himself a solo developer. At least no one is being exploited. But remember, this original concept was made by a fan of the project. Sure, the fan's name got mentioned, but let's hope they get credited properly in the future. You know, just like the suckers on his Patreon who tossed him a whole $1 to get their name in the credits.
And then the next thing, how much money do I make, right? Dude, I made $446 just off of this month. That is enough to give you, dude, if you live in the US, this is enough to buy you like a pack of M&Ms and a slap on the cheek.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it monopoly money, mate, but the question was never about how much you make. Let me be clear. It's the fact you'd rather monetize the hype than prioritize developing Daydream itself. You say you're working around the clock every waking minute, but then your updates just end up being more aesthetic slow-mo runway clips of your characters doing nothing in empty space. We don't want a digital fashion show, mate. We want progress. Besides, let's not act like $500 is nothing in this day and age, especially for someone in their 20s, which I think you are. It isn't pocket change, mate.
This is actually the blueprint for the first player character build. This is not the multiplayer build. We have 2 separate ones. And as you can see, it's literally fully functional, fully fleshed out. There are real nodes in here, like Syncam Spring Arm. If you know blueprinting, then you know that this is an actual playable character.
There isn't much to go off here. He says that if you're familiar with blueprints in the Unreal Engine, then you'll know this is a fully functional character. Well, that's the issue here, Juniper. A lot of people viewing your video, including myself, aren't familiar with what's being displayed on screen. Really, you could have thrown up any technical jargon to do with Daydream and any double-digit IQ retard would eat it up. Either way, this isn't showcasing a whole lot, regardless if you label it behind the scenes. I'm not saying you're lying, but I don't think we got a lot from you showing us this messy digital workflow.
This is just a rough build. We're working on the player design and player character face material. On top of that, we have some active TVs.
Yet again, showcasing what we've already seen on his YouTube shorts as behind the scenes. Lazy and disingenuous. Nothing new, really. I will correct myself in saying that Juniper isn't showing renders. It does look good. It is real in-game footage, but again, it's the lack of gameplay that keeps more of the intelligent side of his fanbase skeptical. And yes, I'm calling the majority of his fanbase retarded. That, or they're really young children, which wouldn't be surprising. But if you're an adult buying into this deception, then you've got bigger issues to worry about rather than defend some indie dev on the internet.
Why would I put out a product that's not ready to be put out? It's just going to make everything worse for the game. It's going to mess up the release. It's going to mess up all the marketing. Like, people have to look at it from a marketing standpoint. Because this game has a lot of stuff, a lot of lore, a lot of things that you're going to do in-game that are going to be super fun. And I don't want to put them out until they're ready. I don't want to put out something that's half-made.
Well, at this point, you may have to if you're still planning to release Daydream in 2025, which you have mentioned multiple times in your YouTube shorts. You say the game's half-made, your team says it's still in the early stages, and yet you don't want to release something half-baked. Yet that's great. Except you're juggling two completely contradictory timelines, cunt. As the clock keeps ticking toward the end of the year, are you actually going to deliver? Or are we just going to get more slow pans and dreamy rehash clickbait until 2026 quietly rolls around? I fucking hope not.
We are really working behind the scenes, and it's so much to do as a solo dev. Like, I wake up and I do this every minute of the day, and it's so exhausting because I feel like I'm never gonna get to that point.
Wait a second, what was that? Go back.
I feel like I'm never gonna get to that point.
Huh. Not the best word choice, but anyway, I do hope that Juniper makes an executive decision soon, one that doesn't completely tank his own game. Believe it or not, I am still hoping Daydream releases on time and lives up to the hype, but we'll see in due time. Anyway, see ya, have a good one, you fack.